So, hello everyone, welcome to the Pi and AI meetup of Patna. So, today our topic is how to kickstart your competitive data science journey, and we have Ayon Rai as our speaker. And so, we would like to welcome him here. And first of all, before starting dive in, we would like to play the Pi and AI video by Andrew NG. So, Neolina ma'am, can you start? Yeah, hey.
Hello, deep learners. I'm Andrew Ng, founder of deeplearning.ai, and I'm excited to welcome you to our global deep learning community. I know that many of you are here today because you want to break into AI and build your career. I hope that being part of this community will help you to do so. To give you a proper welcome, I'd like to show you around the deeplearning.ai offices and meet some of the teams so that you can see where it all happens.
Oh, hi, Andrew.
Do you want to tell our friends at Pine AI what you do at deeplearning.ai?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I make articles and other media that help people learn about AI and help them understand the huge impact that AI is having in the world. Today, I'm putting together the next issue of The Batch, our weekly newsletter, and I'm looking for the biggest stories of the week to keep our readers informed.
What's been the most surprising thing you've run into working on The Batch?
How much is going on in this field? There's never a dull moment. You know, you might think from the outside that machine learning engineers really understand everything about AI, but nobody understands everything about AI because this field is just coming to life right before my eyes as I put this thing together every week.
All right, I know you're really busy, so let's you get back to it.
Thanks. See you later.
Let's go meet Kian, who helped me create the deep learning specialization. He's working on an exciting new project. Hey Kian, so do you want to tell the people at Pine AI what you're working on?
Yes, sure. I'm leading a project called Workera, focusing on helping people get offers in AI and navigating their career by testing their skills, preparing for interviews and certifying them, as well as matching and referring them to good jobs in AI.
That's really cool. And what's the most exciting part of your day?
You know, the AI field is new, organizations and jobs are still misunderstood. So I'm excited to help people understand what different types of jobs exist in the field, what tasks they will work on, and what skills are needed to achieve those tasks.
Yep, that's really important work. Well, it's nice chatting. And now let's go chat to Hotel, who is on their product team.
Hey, Andrew.
Do you want to say hi to our friends at Pine AI and let them know what you're working on?
I would love to. Hi, everyone. I lead the product team in deeplearning.ai, where we create AI education content accessible to people all around the world. People like you.
And what are you most excited about right now?
I am so excited to see our community grow and to see how eager people are to learn more about AI.
Thanks, also.
Thanks, Andrew.
So as you can see, our team is working hard to support you and help you learn. It's never been easier than before to break into AI. So if you want to build a career, you can leverage online resources available, including open source code, datasets, papers, and online courses like a deep learning specialization on Coursera. As part of this journey, I hope you get your hands dirty too. Don't be afraid of diving in to build your own project, or go ahead and try to replicate a research paper that you're excited about. One thing that I've seen help a lot of people succeed is if you can build a community or find a community of fellow deep learners you can meet with and study with on a regular basis. In fact, I hope that this Pine AI meetup that you're at right now will be a good place for you to meet these people. I hope you enjoyed the event today and that you learn a lot, both from the talks and from each other. And once again, welcome to the deeplearning.ai community.
So yeah, hello, Aeon. Now you can find in the screen and start the session.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I'm just trying to share my screen. Do confirm that if you can view the
Yeah,
screen. So can you view the screen? Is it
yeah,
visible? Like, okay, thank
it's
you.
been.
Yeah, thank you and good evening to everybody who is joining in. And I really appreciate you coming to this meetup by the Pi and AI Patna community. I hope that you would be getting something out of it and you have been staying safe throughout this tough times in the going throughout the world. So today we would be focusing majorly on the topic that's kickstarting your competitive data science journey. So it's like why should you do this, or why there was a need, and what is this competitive data science all about. We would be focusing on all those stuffs. So like I would also be very happy to answer any of your questions during the later part of my talk. So yeah, like it's a short introduction about me. So I am Ayon Roy, a final year student of BTech Computer Science. And I am a data science intern at Internshala. So might be the students from India, like they might be knowing about Internshala, where people go and find internships and get hired and stuff like that. So it's like the data science team there majorly works on recommendation systems and making the platform more and more robust and more useful for the students. And I also had the privilege of bringing a community that's called Kaggle Days Meetup community in India for the first time. That's Kaggle Days Meetup Delhi NCR. So it's a similar kind of community where we talk about data science, machine learning, deep learning, and certain related stuffs. So that's a short introduction about me. And this is the agenda of today. Like I have tried to divide the entire session into 6 parts, so that even the folks who are very new to this domain, or very new to the terminology, what's competitive data science and stuffs like that, we can all be on the same page. That's why I've tried to divide the entire session into 6 parts, like starting from what is competitive data science. So like that would be setting the ground for us, like how things are and what this domain is all about. I would not say it's a domain, it's just a specific term that the industry is using these days. So maybe a little bit of more exposure to these things would work. And then on top of that, why should you try competitive data science at least once? Like once you know what is competitive data science, you will be more interested towards learning what is the main motivation that you should have, or why should you at least try CDS once. And how then, once you have the motivation, once you understand that yes, this is the thing that I can definitely try at least once, then how should you start? Because now we have the thought process going on that we want to start, but how to start, I would definitely take you through that journey. And it's all through my personal experience. It's not that I have picked up certain topics from other slides or presentations. It's like throughout my experience, what I have explored, what I have learned. It's all my learnings there. And then once you understand how should you start see competitive data science, then this is the time where you would love to participate. This is the time where you would love to interact with the community. This is the time where you would love to get involved with other stuffs and with other folks and with other initiatives around competitive data science. So this is where you kickstart your journey, right? Like as the resemblance of a topic that's kickstarting your data science journey. So like here is the process where you would be kickstarting the entire journey of yours towards a competitive data scientist. I would not say competitive data scientist, but it's like a domain. It's like a kind of thing that you would love to explore. And once we kickstart that, now it's like there are certain times that when students ask me that is competitive data science everything? Like is it the only thing that I need to do, or is there anything else that I need to focus upon to be more competitive in this data science industry and get hired kind of stuff? So we will try to clear certain myths around CDS and stuffs. And then I would be closing the talk with what are the other things than CDS you should focus on in order to become hireable in 2021. Because it's like at the end, even if you do data science, machine learning, deep learning, at the end you want employability, or you want to generate employability, right? So you have to focus on certain larger aspects of data science and certain larger aspects of this machine learning domain. So we would be trying to focus on those things, what you need to learn, what you need to focus on, so that you become more industry ready in the data science and machine learning domain. So like I would be picking up all the questions of yours that you might have during the later part of the presentation. So I would request you in case you have any questions, you may write down in the chat window, and I will be trying to pick up all those questions once I end the presentation. So yeah, what is competitive data science? So like hell lot of things like might be some of the folks who have joined today might have heard or might have been participating in this so-called terminology that's called competitive data science, or might have researched a little bit about this topic before coming to the talk. So no worries, I would try to start from the very level zero of the stuffs. So it's like competitive data science, I would definitely tell it's an opportunity. Like I would not tell it's a job or it's a domain, or I would not say it's a specific skill or skill set like that. Or like I would not try to classify this competitive data science into those aspects. I would like to term it as a great opportunity to sharpen your programming and analytical skills. So it's like pardon my mistake in the spelling of analytical, right? So like it's a great opportunity to sharpen your programming, because when I talk about programming, it's like you might be doing certain courses, or you might be learning certain new stuffs in Python, or you would be trying to implement certain algorithms, or let's say in our case maybe neural networks. You're trying to do a lot of stuff using programming skills. But competitive data science gives you an opportunity to sharpen that, and you can also better your analytical skills, because this is a place, or this kind of opportunity gives you a broad mindset that how you can approach a problem statement, or how you can do certain things easily, right? So this is the most important advantage that this opportunity gives you, that you can sharpen your programming and analytical skills. And on top of that, while you're diving into competitive data science, or while you're trying to enter into this, it's kind of an opportunity to enhance your domain knowledge. So it's like might be before you get your first job, or before you get your first internship, you would love to enhance your knowledge in certain domains. Like let's say you want to work on financial data, or you want to work on certain data sets that are available on certain other platforms. So it's an opportunity for you to enhance your domain knowledge. Maybe like you can understand the lending architecture better, or you can understand the financial world better while you're trying to participate, or while you're trying to get into this competitive data science. And then one of like this also provides you with an opportunity to learn more about practical applications of data science and machine learning algorithms. When I talk about practical applications, it's like we do learn a lot of stuff, we do learn a lot of algorithms, we do have a hell lot of things going on, right? Like we do, or we see certain tutorials on neural networks, we certainly see tutorials on linear regression, logistic regression, stuffs like that. And we also implement those things. I would not say that we don't implement, but it's like maybe most of the times those are on dummy data sets, or maybe those are just on Titanic data set, or Iris or Boston data sets kind of stuff. So when you try to get into this competitive data science journey, it's like you also get an opportunity to learn more about practicality, like how those machine learning algorithms or data science algorithms that you were reading, or that you were trying to code yourself, how are they actually giving us value in a real world exposure, or giving us value in real world applications kind of stuff. So you learn to bridge the gap between your learnings as well as the industry requirements, which would definitely make you hireable, right? And then when we talk about competitive data science, it's like a competition is always there, right? Like because how are you getting this opportunity to sharpen your programming skills, to sharpen your analysis, like how you can analyze things, how you can enhance your domain knowledge, and how you can learn more about the practicality of certain algorithms that you are trying to learn these days. So you will definitely get this opportunity when you participate in some real world data science competitions. So that's why it's called competitive data science. Like here I would not say it's a very harsh kind of competition or stuff. I would not say this is Google Code Jam or stuff like that. It's not that super high level, but yes, it's like you participate in certain competitions of data science which are hosted by various organizations on various platforms. So like let's say you might ask that, okay, competitive data science, I got a point that here I have to participate in certain data science competitions which are hosted in real world, real time, by certain organizations, so that I can understand the problem statement. I can understand, or I can make sure that I understand the domain better. I have a greater domain knowledge of the problem statement that I'm solving, and I can also sharpen my programming as well as analytical skills using the practical applications of data science and machine learning algorithms. So this is what a summary of competitive data science would look like: participating in data science competitions just to get an opportunity to to focus on these three highlighted points, right? So, but we were focusing on that it's a participation in competitive, like in a data science competition in real world, but it's like hosted by various organizations on various platforms. But that's where you can understand why we are trying to discover this, like, but why competitive data science is gaining traction in 2021. Like, might be you have a question that, okay, like, I participate in data science competitions, I participate in certain other events of real world data science and stuffs, but why actually it's gaining traction or it's gaining prominence in 2021? So it's like because of the business organizations. Like, now maybe you can map that. When I was telling you that you are in competitive data science journey of yours, you try to participate in some real world data science competitions hosted by various organizations on various platforms. It's not always that it's a corporate, or it's a certain, or it's a certain NGO kind of stuff. Maybe certain other folks who come, organizations maybe can be any institution, irrespective of whether they're from technology background or whether they're from NGO kind of stuff. So it's like lot of business organizations, lot of institutions are coming up with their problem statements, and they are trying to put it in the real world and trying to put it into the public, so that folks like us who are trying to learn data science, who are trying to understand machine learning things better, they can help the organizations solve the problem statement, right? And but you may ask that why are organizations putting the problem statements into public, right? Like, because that's the problem statement of that organization. Why are they putting them in public and trying to make a competition around it? And we all are trying to participate in those kind of competitions. It's like organizations these days, most, like, I would not say all the organizations are super adaptable or have adapted to the demands of what a data science, like, all the organizations these days don't have a data science team, right? Like, because maybe they are on their path to hire a data science, to build a data science team in their organization in house. But like, as the world is progressing super fast, and like the data, like every organization now have data of their users, now have the data of certain events or certain sessions that a user does. And every organization nowadays want to understand the consumers, want to understand the users better, so that they can also serve their consumers better in a more convenient way, or in a more personalized manner. So like, every company is nowadays is towards a goal of using data science or machine learning to serve the better purpose. But not every organization has a data science team in house. So what they do is, like, let's say, just for a problem statement, like, I want to make a recommender system, like, as of now, and I do not have a data science team in my house, or like, sometimes the problem statement is too big that the in-house data science team is learning, the in-house data science team is not able to come up with a very great solution, or we want to recheck how can this solution be made better and stuff. So what the organizations do, they have a problem statement that I want to do, or I want to build a recommender system kind of stuff. And like, maybe they host this problem statement on the platforms where we folks go and try to compete in that competitive data science journey that I talk about, right? So you go there, you try to see what this company actually wants. Like, this company actually wants to see how can the accuracy of the recommender system can be made better, or how can be one of the best recommender system in the market could be built, or stuff like that. While they might be having their data science teams, but might be they want to recheck, or maybe they are open to new ideas that how we can make this recommender systems better, right? So like, this is one of the main motivation why organizations are putting up their problem statements in public, and where learners like us, where folks who might be experienced, who might not be that experienced, go and try to experience what working in a real data science problem or in a real data science team would look like. And one of the major benefits, it's like company might be saving certain costs, like hiring entire data science team in house might be costing the organization a lot. So maybe like they have a specific problem statement that they want to solve now. So what they do is they try to fix some prize money, like let's say $30,000 or like like in $1,000 and stuffs like that, right? So what they do is they have a problem statement, they release it in public, and that problem statement is somewhat related to the problem statement being faced by the organization. I would not say the entire data, the real data from the organization is put up in the public. It's like there is a fudging in the data. Like the company knows how to decrypt the message or decrypt the information that I would not say decrypt, just to decipher the message that you are seeing. So might be the original data would be like 1 2 3 4 5 6, but in the data set that you get in a real world competition or in a real world platform, it would be like 7 8 4 3 2. So but the company knows what this data resembles, right? So like now organizations need to define the problem statement, they need to provide the data and put a prize money on the challenge, like let's say $10,000 or $30,000. And we're competing where folks like us who are learners, who are experienced, and who are on a journey to become a data scientist, they compete and they build certain solutions, they build various algorithms to be the winner. And this is a two-way process. The competing data scientists gain experience, like gain experience working on the problem statement, and the company also solves this problem statement and also gets a solution to the problem statement that they were looking for. So it's a two-way process, and that's why you see a lot of traction these days. It's like rising importance of data science in the industry, and like the super fast necessity to inculcate data science into everyday's working of an organization is pushing the rise of this entire terminology of competitive data science, where folks go and compete to gain money, to earn money, or to gain experience, right? So this is one of the important aspect that why competitive data science is gaining traction in 2021. So now you understand what competitive data science is. So like you understand that it's an opportunity for you to understand, or to opportunity for you to practice your skills. And then why it's building up, it's due to the organization's need and stuff. Now we are at a better position to understand why should you try competitive data science at least once, because now you understand what is CDS and why organizations are so crazy, or why organizations are supporting competitive data science these days. So like now you might be trying to understand that why should you try competitive data science at least once. Do I help you explore a few things like monetary benefits and gaining experience kind of stuff. So like the one of the most important thing why you should do competitive data science is like if you talk about the employability, like it's like most of the students in colleges, most of the students in universities, like they do really good work around data science, machine learning, but sometimes it's like they are playing around with dummy data sets and stuff. So might be they do not have a real world experience, like how actually a data science problem statement is picked, or how really a data science problem is solved. So com- participating in competitive data science ecosystem helps you to avoid these situations. Like while you are graduating, you would not be like, I have no idea about what I'm doing. So right, so like while you graduate, and if you have participated in competitive data science journey kind of stuff, definitely you would be making good projects of yours, and you would also not be in a situation like this where you would tell that I do not know how a data science industry really works. I have worked on dummy data sets, but I do not have a knowledge about how data science in real world takes place. So you can easily avoid these situations and can be more industry ready by participating in competitive data science journeys. And and like to avoid these situations, definitely, like no idea, like you would not be blank when you go to the industry, you would be competent enough. But there are certain other factors too. Like one of the major thing is you can understand how to solve predictive modeling competitions efficiently. So it's like you can understand how to solve a predictive modeling kind of problem statement, right? Like because when you go into industry, a hell lot of stuff, or a hell lot of industry is focusing on predictive modeling, right? Like where you do predictions and stuff. So while you participate in certain data science competitions, you understand how to progress or how to gain understanding or how to solve a prediction modeling kind of problem statement. And then definitely you can translate these learnings of yours into a real world problem statement in your internship or in your job kind of stuff. And then one of, like, I would say this is the most important advantage that, or is one of the most important reason why you should try competitive data science at least once. It's like, because the data set that you would be seeing, there are high chances that those are coming from the real world organizations. And you might have heard that 80% of the time goes into data collection, data pre-processing, and data like feature engineering and stuff like that. So it's like you understand how to deal with messy data in real world, how to pre-process the data, how to clean the data, how to do like how to generate new features, how to pick up certain advanced feature engineering techniques, so that while you are into real world like you are getting a real world exposure in your job or internship, you do not face certain difficulties, or you're like, yes, I know how to approach this problem statement, I will figure it out, like how to do these things, because you are already trained or you already have an experience around pre-processing, generating new features on a real world kind of data set. So definitely you are at a better position. And then you can also focus on, or you can also strengthen your base on cross validation methodologies that will help you to benchmark your solutions. Like, this is the solution that I am thinking about, and you can talk about, or you can make a more reliable cross validation methodology, so that you do not overfit, or so that you do not underfit while you are making a model, while your model is making a prediction, right? So these are a few advantages that definitely you get after participating in competitive data science ecosystem. It's like real world data set, and you try to understand, try to pre-process, try to do all those feature engineering kind of stuff on a real world data set. So this is definitely a very big advantage, and this is the reason why you should at least try competitive data science once, right? And then you have these are some of the additional factors like that you get after participating in a competitive data science journey of yours. It's like you gain experience in analyzing and interpreting the data. Like, while I was talking about what is competitive data science, we were talking about you get an opportunity to strengthen your analyzing skills, right? Like how you analyze stuffs, how you understand stuffs. So it's like you gain experience in analyzing and interpreting the data, how data is interpreted, how you analyze the data. You get a lot of knowledge about how to deal with inconsistencies, how to deal with high noise levels in the data, how to deal with errors in your data, right? So you get a lot of exposure around that. And then you have acquired a knowledge of different algorithms. Like, you like talking about the practicality part, like you know certain algorithms, but you want to focus on how these algorithms are actually used in real world. So you acquire a knowledge regarding those things. And then you master the art of combining various machine learning models. Like, you learn about ensembling processes, and you learn about all those stuffs in a real world ecosystem, right? Not going directly into the job or internship. You definitely try to practice yourself in such a ecosystem where you feel that yes, you are solving a problem statement from the real world, and all the problem statement that you see are somewhat resemblance of what you would be facing as a full-time data scientist or a full-time guy in the data science or machine learning industry. And then you you can learn a lot. Like, once you start, or once you try to step into this competitive data science journey, it's like you get exposed to past winning solutions. Like, you may see that when you go to certain platforms, what platforms those are, we will definitely focus on in the coming slides. But like, on those platforms, you can see that if this was the problem statement, this is the problem statement that that needs to be solved. And you now formulate your approach, that if I was to solve this problem statement, what would be my approach, what would be the algorithms that I would be focusing on, or how would I do certain feature engineering, how would I do pre-processing and stuff. Now you see how others have done in the past, like the winning solutions, like the problem statement got a solution, the winners, like first, second, third. Now you see how have they solved, and you learn how to make your code more efficient. You learn how to approach a problem statement, how to use correct algorithms at the correct time, what are the algorithms that have been used by the winners in that problem statement. Now, once you try to face that kind of problem statement in real world, you would not be like, what algorithm should I use, or you would not be in a confusion because you've already seen what are the algorithms that works, and maybe you can just tweak a certain things and you can utilize that learning of yours into the real world ecosystem while you would be into that. Then now it was like, what is competitive data science? We focused on that, and why competitive data science is gaining so much traction these days. Like we understood that, and why you should at least try competitive data science. We also focused on certain major pointers, like what are the major advantages that you would be getting, uh, that you would be getting after participating in a competitive data science ecosystem. Now all these things have set the base, but how should you start your competitive data science journey? Because it's like, this is the place where you kickstart your journey. This is the place where you make a stand on top of others. Like, this is how I approach the solution, this is how I understand the problem statement better, this is how I do the pre-processing, I do the feature engineering, I do the ensembling better, right? But how should you start? So like, how should I start? It's definitely, you might get a lot of resources, you might get a lot of helpful materials out there, but the biggest challenge when a beginner just tries to get into this competitive data science journey, it's like they think that I'm not ready for this, or this domain is not for me, or this would be really competitive, this would be really stressful, and it's like a very competitive kind of ecosystem. It's not like, the biggest challenge is to avoid this kind of stuff, like like to have a thinking in yourself that I am not ready for this and stuff. So like, do not think that if you are just a beginner, or if you are just starting this domain, you cannot enter this domain. It's not that way. You are definitely ready, and it's an ongoing process. You would be learning a lot throughout the journey, and just kickstart your journey. It's not that you cannot start, or this is not the right time. So just kickstart and see what others are doing, and maybe you can also get an inspiration from them, that how to go ahead with that. But like, how should you start? There are two simple, like, two ways, right? So one is the very complex way, which I went initially, though, like, I got perplexed, like I got confused in the midway. So I always focus on the simple way, right, that I would be discussing with you folks, that what was my approach or what worked for me, and maybe you can kickstart your journey on that way too. So it's like, the only thing that you need to know before starting your CDS journey is, like, for participating in data science competitions, you only need a passion, right? Like a passion to focus on on solving a certain problem statement. Like, if you see certain data science competition, there are high chances that maybe in the first time you would not be able to crack the problem statement, or you would not be able to solve the problem statement very efficiently. But there are high chances that you will constantly learn and improve, that how this problem statement was, and what were the mistakes that I did, what I could have avoided, kind of stuff. You Once you start participating, you try to learn, you try to explore, you try to improve on yourself. And then once you improve, once you explore, once you learn, definitely good ranking, and maybe someday you would also be a winner of certain competitions of on. You can also solve a problem more efficiently. So those rankings, first, second, third, and stuffs would definitely follow. But just to start, you should only have a passion. You should have a passion to constantly learn, improve, and explore this journey, right? So initial steps to boost your, or to start your CDS journey, like how to start your CDS journey, kind of stuff. It's like, make sure your basics about Python and mathematical concepts are clear, right? Because why I focus on this is because the the knowledge, it's like, if you do not have a basic knowledge about Python, machine mathematical concepts, it would be a little bit tough. I would not say you need to be very much very pro about Python programming, or you need to be very pro about mathematical concepts before starting CDS. I would never say that. But it's like, if you have your basics cleared around Python, if you have your basics cleared around mathematical concepts, that would definitely boost your preparations, definitely boost your journey in competitive data science. So make sure you are a little bit familiar with Python and mathematical concepts. Then once you're good with that, like the usual procedure of learning data science, or the usual procedure of usual procedure of getting into data science, it's like, now you focus on understanding first of all, the very little or the very less complex kind of algorithms, like let's say regression. I would not say it's a very easy concept, but it's like it's a good start. Then you go ahead to understand or more core data science and machine learning algorithms. When I talk about core, it's like maybe a variety of things. Maybe you try to see how combining these two algorithms would work and stuffs like that. So this would be the second procedure. And third procedure would be to to combine all your basic knowledge about Python, mathematical concepts, to combine your knowledge of data science and machine learning algorithms. Try to make certain self projects around that. Like the whatever concepts you have learned, try to focus on combining all those stuffs into one and try to make certain projects, because this way you will also get a confidence that yes, I can solve a problem statement that I have solved using my basic knowledge about Python programming and stuffs like that. So you would definitely get a proper like push or proper motivation yourself that yes, I can do it. So once you try to make self projects, you would be at a better position that now let's pick up certain problem statements from the real world and see how things go and how stuffs are, right? So that would be relatively easy for you to start, and this is the way that one should start his or her competitive data science journey. And I think that this would be a great exposure, right? Because these three are the steps that you need to make sure, and rest is like constant learning and constant improvement. So that's definitely a way to go. And in case you would learn, if in case you would love to start ML, or to get certain guidance on cracking internships, etc., you may go to ionroy.ml/help, right? So I have certain resources put there, so maybe you can use them at a later point. So once you're done with these three steps, these are the initial steps, which would be like a learning booster for your data science or machine learning journey in itself. But the next step would be try participating in kudos or knowledge competitions. When I talk about kudos or knowledge competitions, it's like the basic competitions that you might have heard. Like though those are not a real world problem statement as of today, but those are really good problem statements to solve upon, right? So like when I talk about it, when I talk about this, it's like you might have heard about Titanic dataset, you might have heard about Boston dataset, you might have heard about Iris dataset. So those are all kind of kudos or knowledge competitions. It's like you try to explore, if you can understand the problem statement better, if you can formulate a solution to that problem statement. So first try participating in very small level or small competition, so that it goes okay, right? It goes very well. And then try to learn about approaches from others notebook, right? Like try to see what are the things others did in a problem statement that you were trying to solve, and try to see what things you missed and what are the things you would have done better, right? So that way you would be again into the procedure of constant improvement and constant learning, and that's where you start your journey, and that's where you go ahead, right? Then try to apply your learnings, like whatever learnings you got from the knowledge competitions or from viewing others approach to a certain problem statement. Now try to participate in featured or prized competitions. So this is the place where you solve a real world problem statement that's put in the public by certain organization with a prize money, or maybe not always a prize money, maybe a real world problem statement to be solved, and it's in real time, right? So you can see how others are performing. Maybe you can also get a leaderboard that you can see these are the first three folks, or these are the first three teams that are leading in solving this problem statement, stuff like that. And then once you get your baseline model ready, once you get your baseline solution ready, maybe you can explore variety of techniques. Like now you have certain, like let's say you built a model using linear regression, and you see that maybe this thing is not working well, or maybe I can do certain other stuffs, or I can use certain other algorithms to get better results. So maybe try to utilize that, maybe try to focus on exploring variety of techniques, variety of algorithms, and that's where constant learning and constant improvement comes into picture, right? So this is a procedure how you should start your competitive data science journey. And I hope that this works, because this have been working for me as well as my mentors who told me about these things. And this really works, and this really makes your learning graph very like I would not say it's a very straightforward graph, or it's a very smooth graph, but definitely it's a very incremental type of graph, where you will see increments in your learning, where you will see increments in your exposure to data science and machine learning. Then once you have this, like how to start, like we focus on how to start your journey, but it's like how to approach a competitive data science problem. It's like, okay, like you told that there are certain problem statements out there in the market, certain other organizations put up certain problem statements, but how to actually approach a competitive data science problem, like how should I formulate, or what are the things that I should keep in mind and stuffs like that, or where I can find these problem statements, like the things that you were talking about, like the platforms where competitive data science stuffs are actually done, or related things. It's like how to approach a competitive data science problem. It's like you got a problem statement, let's say their problem statement is on XYZ platform, but how to approach that. So this is the problem, this is the approach that I took, and this is the approach that you might have also took while doing your self projects, right? So it's like start with a very the biggest suggestion I would give is start with a very simple baseline model. I would not say directly jump into neural networks or directly jump into certain very complex algorithms or certain complex terminologies at the first go. Never do that, because at the end you will end confused, and it's really like I would not say it's a very good exposure kind of team, like exposure. And it's like it might lead you to get confused about how to go ahead and how to solve a problem statement. So it's like always start with a very simple baseline model so that you understand that the importance of the very basic stuffs of data science and machine learning. It's not that always data science and machine learning is neural networks or stuff. It's also about certain simple problems that can be solved with certain simple algorithms and certain simple concepts. So like try to focus on baseline model with the help of, let's say, certain very initial steps like data cleaning, feature engineering and stuff like that. And maybe then you can see, like, then here you also explore your data, how the data looks like, and what are the parameters in the data and stuff. Now, like, while you are going through that data, you understand the problem, right? Like, you understand the problem, you understand the data, like this is how the data looks like, this is the feature, these are the things that I need to predict, whether this is a regression, whether this is a classification problem, whether this is a clustering problem. So understand lot of stuff while you understand the problem statement, while you go through that data. So my first suggestion would be to understand the problem statement in the best way possible, because if you get the problem statement incorrectly, definitely whatever algorithm that you use, whatever concepts you use might be there of no use, right? So try to understand the problem statement better, what we need to solve, what data we have, and how we can use this data to create a very simple baseline model. And try to do feature engineering. When I talk about feature engineering, it's like extraction of new features or generation of new features, removal of certain features which might not be required, right? So, and then you have a lot of stuff like data EDA and stuff, like you will try to understand the data better by using exploratory data analysis and a lot of other stuff. Then what you have is, like, now you are formulating your approach to a problem statement. Like, this is the problem statement, this is the data, these are the algorithms that I need to use, or this is how I will do feature engineering, this is how I will do data cleaning, this is how I will do data preparation kind of stuff. And then you can try to build a variety of models, like, let's say, gradient boosting models, neural networks and stuff like that. So now you're at a better position to build a variety of models. How would they help and stuff like that? Then try stacking or try blending them, right? So like let's say you made 2-3 models, and it's like you might have heard about ensembling process and stuffs like that. So maybe you can try stacking them, or maybe you can try blending them, and this would definitely help you to go towards a more optimal way, or to go towards a more efficient way of solving a problem statement. And because this is a competitive data science kind of ecosystem, so definitely there are high chances that you will also win a competition using these ensembling and stuff. I would not say this is the only mantra, but definitely, like, these things do work. And time is very crucial. The biggest suggestion that I would give while trying to approach a problem statement in competitive data science ecosystem, it's like time is super crucial, and you should not waste your time writing the same snippets of code from scratch again and again. So it's like you are trying to participate in certain data science competitions, the where the problem statement is XYZ or ABC, right? So you would be having a certain approach towards that kind of problem statement and stuff. So what we do is we try to participate and we try to write the entire code from scratch, right? So but we have written that code earlier. So what I would do is what I would suggest is, because time is super important, keeping in mind the time bound nature of competitive data science journey. So it's like, do not try to write the code every time from scratch. It's like, if you have worked on that kind of problem statement, or if you have tried to work on that kind of data, definitely go and try to pick up certain codes that you've written previously, and that would definitely add value to your journey, and you would learn more and you would have more time to learn, more time to explore, right? So do not waste your important time writing the code again from scratch, in the code that you have already written. So right, so in case you have not written, then definitely explore, definitely learn, and try to come up with certain problem statements that you might have. So like, certain platforms where to get involved, like you, because we have been talking about what data science, competitive data science is, where you would be getting the opportunities and stuff. So it's like, where to get involved with competitive data science. Like I was talking about certain platforms, certain real organizations come up with certain real world problem statements, and they host on certain platforms. So what are those platforms? So my personal suggestions would be to go on Kaggle. Kaggle.com is a very good platform about starting your competitive data science journey. And then you have Crowd Analytics. So crowdanalytics.com/community, you may go there. And then you have Zindi.Africa. You also have very good problem statements out there. And then datahack.analyticsvidya.com. So when I talk about this datahack.analyticsvidya.com, so quite good problem statements, like the quite good problem statements from a beginner's perspective. You might also find very good problem statements even if you're a beginner. So do go and check. There are very good problem statements out there. So then you have crowdai.org, then you have Tianchi, then you have datasciencechallenge.org, then you have drivendata.org. So these are few of my personal suggestions, which I would highly recommend you folks to visit at least once, to participate, to kickstart your data science journey. And maybe I will try to share these slides with the organizers. Maybe they can send you the slides over at a later point of time, so no worries about that. So you can refer to these links at a later point too. But on top of that, how to participate on stuff? So it's like, be a part of communities like Kaggle Days. Then you have the Pi and AI Patna, right? So you have lot of communities out there, women in machine learning and data science. Then you have ODSCs, then you have ML4E, NIT Rourkela, and lot more. So like, you need the passion, just you need the passion to explore and learn. Definitely you will find communities, and be a part of as many hackathons as you can, because it's like a place where you are working in a team. Definitely your team, like a team working kind of ecosystem, you get to participate in that. And then you also have a time bound nature, that this is the time that I am allocated, and I have to do certain stuff in this time only. Like, and you meet new folks, though COVID has made everything into a virtual setup now. But definitely once things get back to normal, as they move towards normal, so maybe you can you can definitely participate in certain hackathons, and never miss that participation in hackathons, because you would not love to miss networking, you would not love to miss free food, and you would not love to miss the swags that you get alongside unlimited learning, right? So it's like a lot of t-shirts, a lot of stickers kind of stuff. So like, try to participate in as many hackathons, as many problem statements that you can solve. That would definitely give you an edge, that how to make yourself more employable, how to make you more hireable in data science or in machine learning domain. But how to get involved more with competitive data science? It's like, do such courses where the skills learned, like let's say you are doing certain courses and you are trying to participate in certain competitions. Try to do those courses where the learnings that you would be getting out of that course really maps to the things that you would be using in the competitions. Because it's a waste of time if you're learning a lot of stuff but you're not implementing them, right? So try to focus on learning those stuffs which you would be using in competitions, which would be definitely useful for you in while you are trying to solve a problem statement, while you are trying to approach a problem statement. Then try to publish your competition research. So like, what are the approaches you took, what were the challenges that you faced, and what were the things that you think were the very biggest learnings, and maybe you can publish those learnings of yours, those challenges of yours, through a blog, through a LinkedIn post, or through other platforms that you favor, right? Then also try to participate in discussion forums, because when I talk about discussion forums, it's like hell lot of communities, hell lot of events have a discussion forums where certain people put up their queries, certain people try to put up their concerns, and there are high chances that maybe while you are trying to answer, you can also learn something new. You can also learn how to approach this problem statement in case you have not approached any such problem statement in the past, right? And then try to make notebooks and try and share them along with great exploratory data analysis, because this helps you to visualize the data. This helps you to gain an understanding about how things look like and how the data is all about. You can do feature engineering, you can share a notebook, or you can share your learnings with the community. Then try to reproduce interesting kernels. So kernels are like notebooks only, the Jupyter notebooks that you write, but it's like online version of Jupyter notebooks kind of stuff. Try to reproduce interesting kernels with your own learnings, like what are the things that you think can be implemented in the kernels that you see, and how can you improvise upon those things, right? And be consistent, like whatever you are trying to share with the competitive data science community, or any community like Pi and AI Patna. So try to make sure that you are consistent in whatever you're trying to share. And now, like, as we understood what competitive data science is, why there is such attraction, how should I start, or what are the platforms that I need to look upon, or where should I get into to get more involved into this competitive data science kind of stuff. So is competitive data science everything what the industry requires? So might be like, because competitive data science definitely gives you an opportunity to understand the problem statement better from a real world point of view, and you can also understand how to approach a problem statement in real world before you are getting hired and stuff like that. But is competitive data science everything what the industry requires today? So, like, what will you do? Like, let's say in competitive data science, you train a model once, right? So like, let's say in competitive data science, you have to solve a problem statement, and you solved the problem statement so well that the algorithm was very good, was performing very good during your submission. Like, the company also rewarded you with the first prize, that this is the solution that I wanted, this is the perfect solution. But over time, machine learning and data science systems are like, might be they are not able to predict that way, might be with time the accuracy of your model decreases, right? So competitive data science already only focuses on, let's say you train your model once, and once the competition is over, who cares, right? But let's say if that model was to run in real world, after every 6 months that model's performance would have gone down, let's say. So what would you do? That retraining or stuff like that. So really, industry requires a lot more knowledge than only model training, or than only exploring certain competitive data science. You need to understand the entire big picture, right? So like, if you see, like, in real world, the ML code is just the black part that you see, that if you can see a small box, right? So like, ML code in a real world ecosystem is just that, but otherwise there are a lot of things that needs to be taken care about when a data science application or data science problem statement needs to be solved, like data collection, data verification, feature extraction. Then you have monitoring, then you have serving, like how will you serve the results that you're getting through that machine learning model and stuff. So competitive data science definitely gives you an edge in making the most out of that black box, right? So ML code, you get a lot of learnings, you get a lot of understanding regarding that domain. But what about the rest? Industry also wants you to have a good understanding about feature extraction and how you serve your models. So like, let's say when you make your personal projects, you try to make an API, or you try to make it into a microservices architecture. So that definitely makes you more competent in the industry, right? So competitive data science definitely gives you an edge. Definitely it makes you stand out of the others, but definitely it's very good to understand these things too, like data collection, serving infrastructure, monitoring, machine learning, model monitoring and stuff. So that would definitely increase your knowledge. That would definitely increase your potential to do end-to-end machine learning, right? So try to focus on these parts too. what other than competitive data science you should focus on. So like, let's say we focus on these stuffs like data collection, data verification, machine learning, machine resource management, serving infrastructure, and other, like a lot of stuffs. But what other than competitive data science we should focus upon to become more hireable in 2021? It's like, because if you see the entire machine learning ecosystem, this is how a machine learning or data science ecosystem looks like. First, you have a product, like this is the problem statement, like we need to solve this problem statement. And like you do ideation, this is how we will approach this problem statement, or this is how we will go ahead with that. Then you see whether you have the data for that to solve the problem statement. Do I have the data, and do I need to prepare certain data? So it's like a lot of stuff. So you need to understand, or you need to be proficient in all those stuffs like ideation, because thinking as a human is definitely the biggest asset that you have. So how you can ideate that problem statement, what are the things that I require, what are the data that I need to acquire, or what are the data sets that I need to take care about from the company's database or stuff. So you need to take a lot of stuff. Then you have data exploration, then you also do literature review. So maybe what problem statement you are trying to solve, those have been solved partially in the past by certain other folks at certain other organizations, or maybe they have published a research paper on those things, or maybe they have written a blog on that. So you also try to review the literature that have been already out there in the market. You also try to see or try to read others' blogs so that you get a better understanding. Then you also do tech checks, that do I have the perfect ecosystem? Do I have the perfect infrastructure to make my model, to make data science development go ahead? Then the actual model development starts, and then you have testing, validations, and stuff like. Then you deploy your solution. When I talk about deployment, it's one of the most important part, which may not be competitive data science covers extensively, but when you go into real world, definitely you need to deploy your solution, right? Because if your solution could not see day's light, then what's the importance of making that problem statement solve, right? Because you are here to solve a problem statement, and if the problem statement cannot solve the actual problem from real world, so there is no advantage of making those kind of stuff. So like solution deployment and monitoring, you definitely have to take care about those stuff. Then you deploy, and then you deliver the project where you solve the problem statement. And then you have a lot of stuff, like you take care about the machine learning models accuracy, like whether it's degrading time by time, or you try to do health checks, like how is my model performing, or do I need to check about other stuff. So these are a lot of other things that you also need to cover. I would not say you need to cover each and every aspect, but it's good to have these things too, because these will definitely help you to become hireable in data science or machine learning industry in the time to come. And a few important pointers that you should keep in mind before going ahead, or before to make yourself more hired in data science or machine learning industry. It's like focus on understanding what business use case you are trying to solve. It's like understanding the problem statement very well, because as we discussed, right, like the problems, if you're not understanding what problem statement you need to solve, then definitely there are high chances that you would not be solving the correct problem statement, and at the end you might end up that, oh, this was not the problem statement, I solved it other way. So no need of doing that. So first of all, try to understand what business case you are trying to solve, and then focus on communication skills, like to convey the results. Because if you cannot convey what you are doing, it's like even if you make the best model in the world, if you cannot convey that to the marketing team, or if you can convey that to the business team, maybe the project would only be in your local computer, would only be in the database, right? So like focus on communication skills, try to convey the results. Uh, how can your solution boost the revenue of a company and stuff. Then focus on DevOps. These are additional factors which you may focus on, like focus on DevOps, because when I talk about DevOps, it's like maybe model deployment, model, like to make your model more production ready. So maybe you can focus on those stuffs. And then you have, definitely this is the biggest part, focus on networking and focus on showcasing your work to the community. Because if in case you are doing very good, very awesome work, but in case you're not sharing it with others, you would not get the visibility and there are high chances that even if you are doing very good work, you would not be getting that much great opportunities to yourself, to your skill set, right? So try to focus on networking, try to focus on showcasing your work, what you are doing. And I hope that community will give you suggestions which you can take upon to improvise. Like you can improvise upon yourself, you can improvise on doing those stuffs, and can showcase your work to others. And it's a real fun journey. These are the few useful resources. I will try to give all these resources to you through the slides, right? So no worries. And yeah, go for it. Good luck. It's like the journey might seem a little bit daunting, because it's like while I was starting my journey, it used to be like very tough kind of stuff. It's like I would just get confused where to start, how to start. I'm now stuck, I'm not motivated, and it's very competitive, and like a lot of other factors came into mind. But yes, at least go for it. Good luck, and at least start. And in case you have any doubts or any queries and any stuff, I would be very happy to help. Maybe you can ask your questions if you have any. And thanks for being such an awesome listener, and thanks to Payan AI Patna community for giving me an opportunity to present. And here is my email ID. Maybe you would love to connect with me over email, or would be over LinkedIn and stuff. So any questions, I would be happy to answer them. So in case you have any doubts, maybe you can write in the chat window. I also shared my LinkedIn profile. Maybe you can connect with me at a later point.
Hi, this is Debolina.
Mhm.
Uh, Thank you, Aeon, for the wonderful talk on CTS. And
Yeah.
I have one question. So basically, I am more research oriented, and
Mhm.
many times, even in research, we work on multiple data sets. So, do you have any specific advice on how I can? Because I have been thinking of joining Kaggle since a long time, but
Mhm.
it's been years I have been deciding, but I still haven't joined that. So,
Yeah.
any advice on how can I, as a researcher, how can I uh, kickstart my own journey in CDS?
Yeah, sure. So it's like because when I talk about from the research point of view, so like you might see that while COVID just started, there were certain things where the research papers around COVID were pushed upon, like a data set around COVID research papers was put on Kaggle. So maybe those like it's not that Kaggle is a platform where you only have to compete. It's like maybe you are researching on certain problem statements. Maybe it's a healthcare domain, maybe it's a fintech domain, maybe it's from retail and other stuff. So maybe try to pick up a problem statement, or try to see problem statements around that domain on Kaggle or any other platform, and try to map it how you can use the learnings from here to your own research problem, right? Because that's where you can understand, and that's where the real potential lies, that how you can map the learnings from Kaggle to your own research problem. Because the Kaggle community is great, or the Kaggle community or like certain other communities are